Morning, everybody. Morning, YouTube. Well, afternoon, actually, but it'll be morning when this is posted. Well, Allison went off to Dallas-Fort Worth for the math camp thing. She has become a teacher, or will be very soon. They've contracted her. She's very happy. And she will be teaching fourth graders. And that's good. She cares about kids quite a lot, so this is a job I'm glad she was able to get. Today's been pretty quiet. They say we're going to get thunderstorms and rain tomorrow, but just some things that are going on. I tried something interesting the other night. Oh, actually last night. I tried out that dehydrator that we got from Walmart a while back. So I don't know the name of it. I'm sorry about the but I'm running by the seat of my pants, so tried that out and put basil. That's what it was. Put basil in there. My mind is so shut right now. Maybe I need some more coffee. Then anyway, it's just me and the dog sitting here, and the dog is being good, and dog is usually a pain in the butt when she's gone, but dog has been very good. Dog pretty much is doing what dog is supposed to do. Aren't you, dog? Yeah, that's dog. I don't know if that pointed right or not, but dog just has been relaxing and cooling her heels just like me, and just recuperating. We had a lot go on during the weekend. I hosted my friend over. We had him over for 2 days, and he brought a really nice telescope. And on the second day, when we finally got some clearing for a very brief time, we set it up out in the clearing on the back of the 5 acres, and we actually got the thing to work. We actually saw a star with it. You know, the spotter scope was a little off, but we managed just by tweaking it with the electronic controls. It's one of those ones that you push the button and it moves. It elevates and it goes left and right. So we played with it, and we finally got it centered on a star. And good scope, good telescope. Needs a little. It takes a little TLC to make it work, but we got it to work. And anyway, getting back to what I was saying, I tried dehydrating basil. Allison had picked some of her basil out of the yard and just left it in the kitchen, and usually she just air dries it, you know. I said, I've got this dehydrator that we've had for a while. We have yet to use it for anything meaningful other than the apples that we dehydrated for the first time. And so I took the basil and I put it in there on the bottom rack, put the top on, and then put the top racks upside down to hold the top cap down, because it has a little bit of a gap that's not supposed to be there. Plastic stuff, it never, unless it's really good plastic, you always have some distortion or abnormality. So I turned it on, and I started them out at 100 degrees, and then as the water and stuff started coming off and they started to crisp up, I moved it up to 120. So it's basically like putting it in a car. I've heard people say cars make good dehydrators, so I'm like, well, a car gets up to 120 plus. So I tipped the dial up to 120, and within about 12 or so hours, I had good, crisp basil leaves, whole leaf basil. So crunchy you can just, crush it in your hand, and that's usually the way she dries it, by air drying. But I noticed some differences. The basil that I dehydrated with the machine keeps its color. It's very green. I also discovered that when you dehydrate basil versus air drying it, it is extremely potent. I mean extremely potent. I crushed just a little pinch to give it a taste, just a little pinch. And I put it in my mouth, and it was like, oh! So yeah, a little bit of that dehydrator basil goes a long way. So that's what I did. Uh-oh. That little air hole's clogged up. You gotta watch these travel mugs. That little air hole up there, when that thing gets a droplet in it, you'll lean that cup way back thinking it's you haven't reached the water yet or the coffee yet, and then that little air bubble lets go and it goes blorp into your mouth, and then you've got the fires of hell. It's like, whoa! burn everything, burn the whole mess in your mouth there. Have to spit it out. But anyway, so that's what we did, or what I did. And I want to show it to her when she gets back because I want to see what she thinks of the results. You know, we'll always have basil to grow, and we can always get some more basil, but we're not in short supply on it. So a little experiment with that batch, I think, wouldn't have been inadmissible, you know, or what do you say, not permissible. But I actually like the results that came out. I mean, every centimeter of the plant dried. There's no flecks, no leatheriness, and the flavor is definitely retained. I mean, retained strongly. So anyway, we're supposed to get afternoon thunderstorms today. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. The radar is showing no rain. And other than that, not a whole lot. Oh, probably in October, that'll be 2 years on the Harbor Freight generator, which has run spectacularly so far. Knock on wood. And I'm hoping that it will make it all the way there, because I do want to do a 2-year review on it. It's been a good piece of equipment, probably the best cheap piece of equipment I've bought in quite some time. So we'll be doing that around October, I think is when I did the last review. I'll have to look on the video manager. I may do the review a little sooner, maybe a month or so sooner, because that 1-year review, I had it, according to Allison, a lot longer than a year by the time I did the review. And thinking back, I think I bought that thing maybe about 3 or 4 months after Hurricane Ike. You know, they had a sidewalk sale, and I had a coupon, and I picked it up, and I haven't really been disappointed with it. So I'll let y'all know how things are going with that a little further when that review comes. I got something like 22,000 reviews on that first generator review I did. I was amazed. All my other things get like maybe 6 to 12 views. You know, I've got some that don't get any, you know. And it got a pile of comments. There were a lot of negative, but a lot of good ones, you know, and people that were thankful for it. And what it tells me is everybody poo-poos preppers as being halfway crazy or whatever, but I'm starting to think that a lot more people than are willing to admit it are prepping right now, and they want good, cheap, reliable power for when things go bad, or if things go bad. So it's very interesting, you know, compared to everything else I got combined. That has been the single best performing video. So I do need to do the follow-up on it. I need to do the next one. I'll do a proper review. I'll have it under load. I'll do a full test, and I'll show people what it's doing. I have a kilowatt meter, and I even have a voltmeter, you know, a volt amp meter, so we can do a proper review on it on the next go round. But that's the big thing, you know. I looked on there, and it's just not outstanding like good, outstanding, but like outstanding, noticeable, outstanding, amazing. How many people have viewed that? So that just blows me away. So we'll get that done, and I'll do a right and proper review this time around. I'll try not to generalize on it and things like that, so everybody knows just what's been going on. So I want to review the new Harbor Freight generators. They have a new red series. They call them Stormcats. They have a bigger engine, you know. And I've heard mixed results from people about them, so I want to do a review on one of those. But to do that, I'm going to have to buy one. And I don't know if I want another 800 watt, you know, or 900 watt generator. I think what I want to do, I may do the review on it and then see if somebody wants to buy it off me. And what I want for this house, I need at least a 2,000 watt generator or a 2,000 watt inverter, because I need something big enough to bring the airlift pumps on and bring the well pump on when it's necessary, you know. And 800 watts will turn the jet pump, so I can pull the water out of the cistern. But 800 watts will not turn the lifter pump, so I can't bring water up out of the well. And God help you if they both come on at the same time. I'm actually amazed they run as well as they do. I'm feeding it with like number 12 NMB, something like that. And I know it's pulling way over 1500 watts. It's probably pulling close to the 20 amp line, you know, when all that stuff is running. But it hasn't tripped a breaker yet, and the wires don't seem to be running noticeably warm, so I could be wrong, you know. But anyway, that's one of the things. Other things, I'm filming on a new camera now. Not so new, but my friend Styx has given me this iPod. It's an iPhone running iOS 7. I don't know what generation it is, but it has a slight step up from the iPod Touch 4th generation cameras. So I'm really enjoying it. He basically gave it to me on an indefinite loan. That's what he says. I think I'm going to buy it from him if I can scrape up 400 bucks. Because it's definitely worth it. It's got like 32 gigs of memory in it, so video stitching is not a problem anymore. One of the things about doing your video editing in an iPod or an iPhone, the apps, there's two ways two ways they do it. There's one app called Splice, and Splice will create its own video. You know, as you pull in and import the videos, it has a way of holding all that, even if you erase the original videos. Splice was cool in that regard, that it did that. It built its own temp files with its own video information. And that used quite a bit of memory, you know. The memory use would double when it would start exporting, because it would take the temp file and then it would build a video file from that. And then you have the other kind, which is what I use now. Oh, what the heck is the name? Perfect Movie or some such thing like that. It uses the original files and it doesn't build a huge temp file, so you don't really have a huge use of memory. It just strings them together as they exist. It only builds the actual video when you tell it to export what you've put together. The downside of which is, it's the same as Splice, in that when it exports that movie, I couldn't do anything any larger than 480p. Like when I would film with a rear-facing camera, I couldn't do anything larger than 480p because it would eat up all the memory splicing those videos together and making that final product. And the app would crash and it would say memory full, and I'd have to clear it out. At the most I could do maybe 30 minutes of 480p. And what I want to do is I want to do like 540p or 720p. I'm not crazy about high def, but everybody's going to it, you know. It takes a lot more bandwidth to upload it, but it looks better. I mean, I've looked at some of my videos at 480p that YouTube has processed, you know, and they look god-awful. They look god-awful. And I decided that I want to try and get something that can process a bit larger video and has a bit more memory. So I was very, very happy that he has given me the use of this camera. You know, that's all it is. The cellular part of this thing is turned off, and all the 3G and all that stuff is turned off. I'm not using the cellular function, strictly Wi-Fi. If I had a way to attach this to my AT&T account, you know, on other phones you just move the SIM over. Excuse me. I just ate and things are not sitting well. But anyway, if I had a way to do that and have this attached to my phone number, I'd use it as a cell phone as well, because it seems that it gets better signal than my Windows phone does. I'm not too impressed with the Windows phone, but it's what I got, you know. So I haven't really been impressed much with the Samsung line of cellular products in a long time, man. They always seem to underperform compared to others as far as signal goes. If I could get my hands on some of those older Motorola flip phone, not the big ones, but like the compact ones, the newer ones, before they were canceled and they started carrying all Samsung. That Motorola cellular phone I had with AT&T, I could be way out here in the middle of East Bumble, and that thing would still get good signal bars. I could call from places other people couldn't even get signal, and call with a good solid connection. But nowadays, forget it. Yeah, these Samsungs just can't do it. So I wish they would. I wish AT&T would still carry Motorola's, because Motorola was a superior communicator. So that's pretty much what's going on here. Like I said, the generator review's coming up. We had a lot of storms, and so the back property is a little flooded, and it's kind of making it hard to be passable through there, you know. And my shoes, I blew a shoe the other day. Even expensive shoes from Wally World. I got some Dr. Scholl's. My friend actually got them for me because I was kind of between checks, you know, between paydays, and he helped me out by forwarding me a little and allowing me to get those. I've had those all of 3 months, and the soles just fell off of them yesterday, actually. I got this big gap now. Dang. Choking on my own. You shouldn't breathe water. Well, we're all human. Things happen to us. But yeah, the soles just came loose from it. So I have to wear combat boots now. I have a pair of combat boots. Now there's something. If you can find a good, reputable guy at an Army Navy surplus store, go get yourself a good pair of combat boots. You will not be disappointed. I've had those boots since before I met Allison. So that's got to be like 7 years? 8? Well, before we got, you know, formally together. Back when we were dating. Probably about then. Those boots, I've put those boots through hell. And they look like hell, but you know, those combat boots are still going, man. They are still going. They're still waterproof. You know, I take care of that much of it. I've actually given them a coat of polish, and Allison's given them a coat of polish before, and they looked good when I didn't have any business shoes or anything. So you can make a pair of combat boots look good, man. If they have the speed laces, you just zoop, and you're ready to go and tie them off, you know. And but they're intermediate cold wet, I think is what the guy called them. They're insulated, you know, and they're designed for winter weather. So they're a little hot to wear in the summer. But nothing kicks ass like a good pair of combat boots. I'll tell you what, I love those boots. I've done a lot of work around here with them, and they just keep coming back for more. So Uncle Sam makes a good pair of boots. So go down to an Army Navy place, find you a good, clean, decent shaped pair. You want to get the maximum number of years out of them, get you a decent pair. And get them a size larger than you wear, because if you get them too tight, they'll start putting blisters on your feet. So get them a size larger than you wear and get some decent socks to wear with them. And you're good to go, man. You're going to go through God knows how many pairs of cheap shoes, but your boots will always be sitting over there ready to go in a jam. And that's not what I'm wearing now. I've got socks on now, but that's what I've been wearing, you know. So I'm all for Uncle Sam, man. I buy that Army Navy surplus, you know. I've gotten good stuff, man. I got an aluminum mess kit, 2-part kit, that is friggin' awesome. It's Vietnam War era, Korean War era. You know, the one with the 2 trays. It has like a frying pan. It has an aluminum, it's an aluminum frying pan, and the handle folds out. And it's got the little tray goes on top that has the 2 little impressions for your food. And darn good. It's around here. I got to collect it back up because that thing comes in handy sometimes. So I've got that. And my friend just got me a P-51 military can opener. And I'll see if I can show that to you. Let me pause the video and I'll get it and I'll show it to you, because that thing is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Alright, yeah, I found it. I keep this on, actually it was easy to find. I keep this on my keychain, but this is the larger cousin to the P-38 military can opener. And it's just a little thing, as you can see, you know, it's just a little thing, and I got a key ring down here on the bottom of it so that I can hook it to my keychain easily, because 9 times out of 10 when you get in a bad jam, you're going to wish you had a can opener, you know, to be able to feed yourself. You know, with this, access to food becomes very easy, anything that other people can't really mess with. But it basically, this thing here just drops out, and you balance it on the edge of a can. Let me switch hands so I don't have a can around here to show it off, but this right here, you fold it out and you set it on the can so that this is inside the lip, and this little niche in here sits on the lip of your can. Let me see if I can, yeah, that little niche right there sits on the lip of your can with that thing folded open, and you just and you just keep on going. You move it back a little, and then you push down again. It rips a little more, move it back a little, push it down. And it's not a dangerous thing to carry. This edge, on a lot of can openers, this edge on this thing is knife sharp, but this one does not have to be. It uses the leverage to do its job, and I opened a can of chili with this. I've gotten actually pretty good at it. There's a knack to it, but once you figure it out, it's pretty cool. It works really well. And you can throw that on a key ring, or throw it in a drawer, or put it in your preps, and you're ready to go. I'll just back this up. I didn't realize I was filming every pore of my face there. But yeah, this thing, he got this for me about 4 days ago. And when I saw it, I knew immediately what it was. I was like, oh man, thanks a lot. I've been wanting one of these. And I have not been disappointed. This works better than the can opener in my pocket knife. I have a Swiss Army knife, Victorinox, not a Wanger, but a Victorinox. And the can opener in that is reasonably good, but it's one of those ones you got to move forward with around the can. This one you move backward with around the can, and this one, superior leverage. And I can rip through a can with this thing and nothing flat. Even my cheap Chinese piece of crap roller can opener doesn't work as good as this P51. The history behind it: these things have been with us since World War II. This particular type style. The P51 was the one that was used in mess halls. The P38 is a little smaller. It takes more leverage to do it, but that was the one that the regular soldiers carried. The soldiers that were out in the field, they had the P38, and that's what they opened their C rations with. And they got pretty good at it. They would have races. I read the history on this. They would have races to see who could open them the fastest with these, and some of them, like in the sentence I'm saying now, by the time I get to the end of this sentence, they'd have that can open. It was that fast, and they're that easy to use once you learn them. The designation is not for the plane. From what I've read, P38 was the designation of how many punctures it takes with one of these going around the top of the can to open the can, supposedly. That's what they say, At least that's what I read officially. There's a lot of websites. Sometimes in very rare circumstances, like after hurricanes or after some natural disaster, sometimes the recovery groups like FEMA or other groups will hand these out. They're hard to find, but supposedly, from what I read, they're supposed to be in like plentiful supply. But man, this is the first one I've ever been able to get my hands on, and this is only $1.50. And it's a true example. It's a true example of how things don't have to be overly complex to work well, and they don't have to cost a fortune. So yeah, if you do preps or survival, you need to get you one of these. I'll probably do a separate review with it and just show how it works, and I'll have to get somebody to film while I do it, because you have to have two hands to use this thing, one for the can and one for the opener. So, but anyway, yeah, that's the other thing this week that I got that's cool. But yeah, getting back onto boots, get yourself a good pair of boots from a Army-Navy place. You won't be dissatisfied if you get a decent pair. Don't skimp and get like the cheapest ones on the shelf, the most worn out. Get the good ones and clean them up. Spray them with a little Scotch Guard down around. They make a waterproofing spray, down around the sole where it joins the upper and all that, where the sole joins the leather. Go ahead and spray that good and let it dry. You do the same thing for hiking boots. It's not necessarily required, but it's good to have, and there you go. You have a good pair of military combat boots. It'll get you through life. So And if you're lucky, you'll get the kind that have the foam insoles in them. They make these big, thick foam insoles, and those are great. You can march for days or walk for days or stand for hours on those, and it doesn't tear your back up. Long video, long video. I hope you guys aren't too bored. But anyway, just the news from here. She's supposed to be back Wednesday or so, sometime Wednesday. I don't know how things are going down there because she hasn't called or emailed or messaged. I don't even know if they made it alive, so I'm a little worried, you know. But that's it from here. Got another couple of days to go, I think, tonight and tomorrow. See, today is Tuesday, I think. Boy, I'm absent-minded, but not where it counts. So anyway, that's it. And y'all have a good one, and hopefully October or a little sooner than that, I will do the Harbor Freight generator review. I'll have it running under load, and we'll put it through its paces again and show that that thing is still doing well. Still doing extremely well. And it's not like I haven't really used it a lot. I do the monthly service cycle on it, you know. But I have used it a couple of times under pretty heavy loads, you know, to make sure everything is good. And also there's been things I've had to do with the power off. So it's a good handy standby for that. So take care, guys, gals, good people. And I'm sorry this got so long-winded, but you know, it's a vlog. It's going to happen. If you're going to speak your mind, you're just going to go. And that's just how it's going to be. And thank y'all for viewing, and thank y'all for coming to my channel. Take care.